Fit to Love, episode 108, 5 Ways to Build an Exercise Habit.
Fit to Love is physical, emotional, and spiritual fitness to achieve the happy life you deserve. From exercise to cooking, relationships, and spirituality, you'll find all the inspiration you need right here with our host, JJ Flizanes.
Hello, and welcome to Fit to Love Wellness Wednesdays. Today's show, 5 Ways to Build an Exercise Habit. This was an interview that was done by Rita Black, of me, for her Shift Weight Mastery program. And we had a great conversation about both the psychological as well as the strategic ways to getting exercise to become more of an easier habit in your life. So I hope you enjoy the show. Before we get started, I do need to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Do you want to look and feel years younger? Learn more about your hormone health and how to get properly tested. Sign up for the Healthy Hormone Kit at nourishingwellness.com. It features the essential tests you need to tell your doctor to order for you to learn more about your current levels. Plus, you'll receive lots of healthy eating and lifestyle tips to improve your hormone health naturally. Again, that's www.nourishingwellness.com. Get the hottest tips and latest trends for your business success with today's Innovative Woman magazine, a free print and online digital magazine. Plus, receive the special bonus video series, Platforms for Profit, the must-have marketing essentials for outrageous success, taught by media and marketing strategist Kathy Alessandra. Who is today's innovative woman? She's a smart and savvy business owner. She is driven and committed to success. She invests in herself and her business on everything from products to grow her knowledge, services to grow her business, and events to learn and connect with potential clients and customers. You can claim your free subscription today and get it mailed to your home or office at today'sinnovativewoman.com.
Welcome, JJ. Thank you for coming on with us tonight.
Thanks, Rita. Happy to be here.
And I do love your podcast show, and I have to put in a shameless plug for my podcast that you interviewed me on night eating, which was a really great interview.
Absolutely, and don't forget, you also did shifting bad habits into good habits, too.
Oh, I did indeed. We did 2 interviews. So welcome to the show tonight, and I'm so excited for you to be with me tonight because we are going to talk about developing an exercise habit and 5 ways that we can do it. I think of all things that we discuss, especially when people are really started getting going on really getting fit. And I love your philosophy. It's not just being fit physically, but fit emotionally and internally, which is what we are all about here, working from the inside out. So how do we approach an exercise habit from the inside out? How do we start getting going on an exercise habit, especially if we've gotten pushback from ourselves and resistance in the past?
So the first step I'm going to recommend, somehow make it fun. Whether you add music, whether you do it with a friend or a date, or you make a work meeting out of it. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've literally had a quote-unquote business meeting with that we walk on the beach or on the Strand. You and I did it, right?
Yes, we did. We had a business meeting on the Strand once, yes.
Right. So that's fun because you're talking about work and we're talking about the books and interviews and the podcast show, and we're meeting and we're working, but we're walking and we're getting exercise in. And so make it fun. Figure out what that means for you. If you are married or in a relationship and you have any kind of inkling to want to take a dance class, whether you take it with your partner or not, take a dance class. That could be very fun and exciting, and then you forget that you're exercising. Right. You could go hiking. If you want to get your family involved, do something fun with the family where you're, again, going hiking or doing a scavenger hunt of some kind or doing little relay races, or this past weekend with the Super Bowl, a lot of people do that race for fun because they know they're going to be overeating all day long, so they go burn some calories in the morning and get up with the masses of people for the fun of it. It's not because these people are advanced runners and they do it all the time. You know, there's a herd of people that come out just because it's fun. And there's a beer garden afterwards. I don't participate in that part, but lots of people do. And again, it's part of the draw because it's fun and it's social. So whether, like I said, you use music or you add accountability with a friend or a loved one, doing it with somebody else is always much more fun, or just choosing an activity that doesn't bring resistance to you. If you think about exercise, and what comes up for you is resistance because you think it's going to be too hard, you think it's going to be boring, you think you're going to hurt too much afterwards, whatever conscious excuses that cause resistance in your mind, rather than trying to push through those with willpower, try to find something that has less resistance to it, something that's more fun, something that when you think of it, you go, oh, I like that.
Right. And I think that's such a great point because, honestly, I have transformed I used to be such a couch potato, and when I moved to Southern California and I started really shifting my own fitness levels and releasing weight, one of the things that I did was I started, instead of going out to lunch or at coffees with people, I would make dates to go and exercise. And in my brain, whenever I thought, oh, okay, Tuesday mornings I meet my friend Pam, I'm not thinking about exercising. I'm thinking about the conversation I'm going to have with Pam. So that gets me in my car, drive Griffith Park, or just this morning I had a meeting with somebody and it was the first time, and we met and went walking, and it was lovely, and it was such a great conversation. We hardly knew we were hiking up a big high mountain, and we hiked for about an hour and a half, and it flew by, I swear, it flew by. So our brain connects to connection before it connects to this other idea of like, oh, I'm going to be uncomfortable and I'm going to sweat, which I did all of those things. But I was more connected to the person and the exercise, which was really where my brain was at. So I recommend that. And something that you were saying as well is just community. One thing that I noticed because I've joined Meetup is I get all of these, and it's free to do if you join Meetup and you say you're interested in fitness. There's all these Meetup groups that meet up and they just go hiking or walking, and most of them are free. So that and the Sierra Club is another way that you can go hiking with a group of people and meet other people and make friends. I had a friend who hooked up with a guy through the Sierra Club, so go fancy that. But what a great idea.
Have fun. And the other part of that, I know I probably was talking mostly to women in some of my suggestions. My husband's been working out much more than he ever has in his entire life in the gym because he's been doing it with a friend. In fact, he's playing tennis, and we've been going swimming. So he's got several different people that he does it with, and he's taken, and so that in itself, that community of choosing lots of different people to do different kinds of exercise with, makes that more fun.
Excellent.
So point number 2 is once you figure out what it is you want to do or that you want to commit to, is to schedule it in like an appointment. Seriously, like a doctor's appointment, because you wouldn't cancel or flake on the doctor's appointment or on something that was really important to you. Put it in your book and don't move it. It's not negotiable. Period. Yes. Just you work around it. When someone says, you available, you say no, because I have committed this time for myself. Because without scheduling it, you're going to keep thinking it's this extra thing that I'll do when I have time. But if it doesn't make it into the book, conveniently, you'll probably never find time because it's not this extra thing on the side. So rather than making it an extra thing, commit to scheduling it. And if that's too much to think about doing right now on a weekly basis, in terms of multiple times a week, just try once a week. Make one day a week a scheduled event that includes some kind of exercise and see how that goes. And then if you like that and it's working for you, then try to add in another one. Find a place where, and I know we could find a place, that exercise could fit in a fun way, and you could put it in your calendar and commit to it.
And would you say that is something that I think is a fabulous idea? And would you say that most people would do that on Sunday, look ahead at the week, or on the weekend, look to the week and do it just as they would be thinking about all their other things, their social commitments, their work commitments, et cetera, so that you pick a day of the week to put your exercise in for the week? I know for me, Sunday morning is my day. I have a little habit in my brain that comes up and goes, schedule your exercise for the week. And that's when I do it.
Absolutely. Exercise scale right now, meaning you would like to be doing it and you're not doing it, you're already doing it, but you'd like to do different things or more things or things that are more effective for you. Wherever you are, take that as your stepping stone and move like one forward. So if you're a scheduler, if you're a left brain scheduler, and every week, like Rita, you're sitting down and you're making a schedule, and I'm very I mean, obviously I work for myself, so I'm all about my schedule. I look at where am I going to put in these pockets. So for instance, if you have a goal of hours of exercise or kinds of exercise and how am I going to get that in a week, then you can sit down with your calendar and decide where you're going to put in those pockets of exercise and how much time do you have for, each one of these days, and depending on what the recommendation is and what you're thinking about, and we're going to get to that a little bit later. But for me, it used to be 3 to 4 hours of exercise. So I would look ahead and think, well, where am I going to put that? And for a while, I was doing a workout with a friend Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it was an hour and a half each time, so that was my 3 hours. And then I was going rollerblading at least one day a week for anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes, and then I'd get dancing in. So I was getting my exercise in with really only 3 days during the work week, and then my extracurricular dancing activities at night or on the weekends. So now that may seem like, whoa, 4 hours, I can't, that's too much for you. Okay, that's fine. So figure out what the best day of the week is for you to commit to that, or what the best time of day is. I have a client who she gets up in the morning and then she comes downstairs and she's got a business and properties kind of all over the world. And so the phone really could ring at any moment in time from people overseas in London or whatever. But normally people come into her house to work around 9 o'clock in the morning. So in her mind, she starts working at 9. So from the time she gets up until 9 o'clock, she's got that time, which I've been wanting her to put in that walk after she gets up and before the shower and before she goes downstairs. So find, like, what kind of time do you have like that where there's a window that is pretty regular for you that you could do 20 or 30 minutes of something, and then schedule it. So once you figure that out, then you can look at your schedule and you can start saying, well, here's part of my new habit. I get up, I do my this, and this, and then I take the next 20 minutes and I do some movement, exercise, dancing, Zumba. I put a CD in, I watch some fit channel or something, watch my podcast. Although we're not exercising, you're learning, you're not doing it. But you could exercise and while you're listening to it or watching it, and then you then you do your shower, then you have your breakfast, then you take your shake and you go in your car and you go to work. Somewhere like that, and then just put it in the book.
Right. And would you say, do you recommend breaking it up over your day if you can't commit to even a half hour?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to get to the programming part
I'm getting ahead
at the end, because that'll be number 5. I'll foreshadow, because that's a huge piece. But yes, understanding we want to schedule it. What we're scheduling, we're going to get to later. So just stick with me right now. We're going to make it fun. We're going to make it fun. No, not you. I just mean everybody. We're going to make it fun. We're going to choose things that invoke some less resistance and more willingness and excitement, and then we're going to want to commit to scheduling it on paper with a pencil or a pen or in your calendar, in your iPhone or your smartphone or whatever. So that's where we are. We're number 2. We're scheduling it like a doctor's appointment.
Okay, fun and scheduled. Got it. What's number 3, JJ?
Okay, so with the schedule, we'll move a little more specific into fitting it into your life.
Okay.
So while I want you to schedule it, I want you to fit it around the most important things that you have to do in your life. So because some things that come up for people are, well, I don't have time. And it's not about taking an extra hour or finding an extra hour somewhere. It's what can you fit into your life? Because everyone's at a different stage of life. And no matter where you are, we can find something. There is no right or wrong kind of exercise, duration of exercise, type of exercise per se, because the first and most important part is that we have to look at your life and what you're willing and what you can put in there. So I know I said schedule it, but before you schedule it, again, number 2 and 3 could be intertwined here. We want it to fit in your current lifestyle. If it doesn't fit, then you're going to look at that as a nuisance and it'll bring up resistance to doing it, because somehow it's going to mean you're going to take away time from something else. So we have to look at, here's your lifestyle, here's your life. What will fit without too much resistance and that won't disrupt what else is going on, unless it's something you're willing to give up. If you know you watch a lot of television and you're willing and wanting to give up half an hour to an hour of television, great. But if there are a couple shows or time with your spouse or time with your children and you're like, I'm not giving that up, then don't. Let's find another place to fit it into your schedule. But here's the point I really want you to understand. A lot of times people think of exercise and whatever that means to you in your mind, what the resistance that comes up is that it looks a specific way. it looks a certain way. It has to be a certain duration, and it has to be a certain kind. And so all of a sudden, that's where all that confusion comes in and resistance. So just know, work with what you have in your life, and then things will shift once you start to do it. And you'll see, if you see results from it, then you'll be more excited to find more time. Or you'll just do whatever you can, and it will make a difference.
Right. And I think saying that coming into this idea of, and many of my clients have found a good fit with, even if you are watching television, exercise while you're watching television. There's a lot of new contraptions where you can burn calories with cycle, or you can, that aren't that expensive. It's not like investing in a big piece of a gym equipment. But
yeah, I know what you're talking about. There are plenty of those things out there. And again, I think when we get to 4.
Okay, sorry, we're jumping the gun. Okay,
no. I know 4 or 5. I mean, 5 probably should have been 1 because but it's again. I wanted to ease everyone
we'll move into it. But yeah, so lifestyle definitely. I know for me, just personally speaking, that on those days where I can't hike or I'm not meeting up with somebody, that I have no time to watch television being a small business owner, but the only time I do, I'm watching it and I'm exercising on my elliptical. So that is and that's, again, what is in my head when I think of exercise. I say, oh, I get to watch my show while I'm standing on the elliptical. So
right.
I seduce myself with this idea of treat.
Well, and you practice it enough that now it's your habit, right? And it's a response to...
It's seamless. It is a seamless response.
Right.
Whereas yes, in years past, I might have gone kicking and screaming, but it's very enjoyable. All right, so 3, lifestyle. I think that's so important. Absolutely. Okay, what's 4? I can't wait to hear.
Well, it's really 5 that I'm leading up to, but 4 is a little deeper. 4 is about staying focused on the big picture, on the why.
Okay.
Because depending on your goals, depending on your time and your lifestyle, depending on what you're choosing that's fun and that you're doing, if we hyper-focus on the weight, on the number, on the way you look, on the results that you're getting, then we're going to be constantly reassessing and looking for reasons to tell ourselves it isn't working or that we don't want to do it. And the reality of it is all these little steps, it's the journey, and there is a destination, but the destination is constantly changing. The destination, once you get there, wherever you think there is, you won't be there long, I promise. Because once most people get to wherever they think they want to go and they successfully get there, they've got a new goal. There's a new there. So the big picture isn't the number. You aren't the number. The big picture isn't even your dress size or how you feel in your body. Why are you doing this? And what is the reason? How are you going to feel? How do you want to feel? How can you feel now? What happens in your life? Are you a grandma that wants to be able to keep up with your grandkids? That why your grandchildren are enough of a reason to keep you excited about doing this because you love your grandkids. But if it's as surface level as I want to fit into these jeans, trust me, I've been doing this for almost, 20 years now. I don't have anyone where the exterior aesthetic part keeps them committed to themselves. They're committed to the number. They're committed to the short term. They're committed to diets and not to lifestyle changes. And in order for this to be effective and really to bring you what it is I think most people want, the deeper issues, the deeper the issues of why we're the deeper rewards and the feelings that you want to get from this, then focusing on the bigger picture for me, anytime maybe it wasn't even me getting off track. I was dancing years ago. I probably told this story to you, and when we do salsa dance, I mean, you burn hundreds, if not thousands, of calories, depending on how late you're out and how many hours you're actually on the dance floor. And I was taking the friend home, and he lived further away, and on the drive back, I'm starving, and I brought an apple. I've been dancing for several hours, and I bring an apple. Definitely not what I want to be eating at that moment. So I'm thinking of something greasy, and at the time, I'm gluten-free now, and I'm paleo, but at the time, I was still eating cheese. And I was eating gluten. So I thought, I'll go get a burrito or a quesadilla or something. And I got in line at the drive-thru at the Del Taco, and I'll never forget that this very, very, very unhealthily looking large person walked out of Del Taco, and that was my sign. I was like, yeah, eating lots of Del Taco leads you to this stage, and that is not where I want to be. And while that was aesthetic, it wasn't about the aesthetics. It was about the health. It was about the habit. It was about the lifestyle that eating this way isn't going to get me closer to what I want. Plus, I could go home and make, at the time, a grilled cheese sandwich that was less calories and less grease and no processed stuff. And, I mean, this was years ago, so GMO wasn't even a conversation in California at the time. But anyway, so I get reminders, or if I see a little an older person who's bent over and has a cane or looks like they've got something going on with their back, it's an instant stand up straight. It's an instant, this is why you want to build your muscles in your back, because what you do now is cumulative. It's like investing money. Right. What you do now, the long term, like your long term plan from now until 20 years from now, what you do now affects how well you're going to be in 20 years. So for me, mine's always been long term when it comes to joints, when it comes to aging, because I see so many people with problems in their joints and they've got degenerative diseases, and the degenerative diseases are really lifestyle oriented, most of them. So early on, someone scared me into understanding that how I decided to use force on my body when doing resistance training could either make or break me and wear down my joints faster or preserve me. And I was 25 at the time thinking, oh, I won't do that. I don't want to get injured. I don't want pain ever. So I have made from that point on decisions about what I do with my body as to what is the best to hold me together, to keep me healthy, to keep my metabolism up, to keep my joints and cartilage as much as I possibly can for as long as I possibly can. So focus on your why and get in touch with that, because even though you might be focused on the scale right now or on a dress size or a pant size, there is a bigger reason why you're doing this. And I believe that bigger reason opens up your heart a little bit more, and therefore will kind of flood you with a little bit more inspiration when the times you don't feel like it. You can tap into that bigger why and get re-inspired.
Yes, absolutely. And just on a day-to-day basis, that feeling of accomplishment, having done it, going to bed feeling like you showed up for yourself. I think on the short-term why and the big why, they feed into each other, or they can. I know for me, when I'm thinking, I'm so tired and I don't want to do this, I think, but you know what? I'll feel so good and I'll feel so great when going to bed feeling like I took care of myself today.
Absolutely. And sometimes, and if that's the conversation of habit for someone that they don't do it because they're always tired, because there are some people that honestly just need to sleep. They need to sleep more than they need exercise. If you are running yourself into the ground and you get less than 5 or 6 hours of sleep at night and you're thinking about adding exercise, I'm going to tell you don't exercise and sleep, because sleep is the number one health remedy of your body and of the world. Seriously, if you're not getting enough sleep, you can't even build muscle properly or release fat properly, because you're dealing with adrenal fatigue and hormone depletion and blood sugar issues and lack of focus and clarity, and then add exercise on top of that. So provided that you're getting a decent amount of sleep, yes, that conversation to get you back into exercise could be that not only will you feel better emotionally, you'll feel better physically, and it will help you sleep because it will get rid of some of that surface level tension and anxiety so your body can relax.
Right. Good point.
Yeah. So are you ready for number 5?
Yes, I am. I'm sitting here waiting. Can't wait.
Okay. So number 5 is probably, they're all important. They're all really important. One of these will probably stick out to each one of you differently based on what it is you need to hear right now. But number 5 is you have to make it effective. You have to make it effective. Now, if you're the person that only has 10 minutes or 20 minutes for the entire week, we can make that 10 or 20 minutes effective. We could probably try to find that 10 or 20 minutes even with something fun that you like to do and make it effective. But I can't stress enough how many times people come to me and say, I'm exercising and it's not working. And it's because 99.9% of the time, it's because they're not choosing exercises that are giving them the results that they want. They're not tracking it. They're not building the program. And it's because that's not what you've studied. Right. I wouldn't go to a mechanic and tell him how to put my car together. I have no idea. I didn't study that. Right. So the effective part is a huge piece for the reasons of You're doing this to get results.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start to see the results and feel the results, then you get motivated naturally because you know it's working. You trust the process. So the conversation of tired might not even come up because you know exactly what your results are going to be from this. And you want those results more than you want to not do it. Make sense?
Right.
But if you're someone who has struggled with exercise because everything you do doesn't seem to get you the results that you want, it's because it hasn't been tailored to you. You're probably doing the wrong exercises. And by wrong, I don't mean that something is necessarily wrong, but for instance, like walking. Everybody thinks walking. Someone told somebody that walking was the best exercise ever. And what does best mean? Best for what? Best for weight loss? No, it's not. I don't know what best meant when they said that, but somehow it has just permeated the world that all women think that just walking is the best exercise. So can it be effective? Yes. Is it going to always be effective the way that you're probably currently doing it? No, because there's science involved. It's called plateauing. It happens to do with progression and adaptation. Your body changes when you do things, and as it changes and gets better and gets stronger, you need something different to get to the next level or more or a different activity. But there is a science in choosing the most appropriate, effective, and safe exercises for you within your lifestyle, within your desired what you want to do, and within your schedule. So if it's not effective, you will be frustrated because you're not getting the results that you're expecting to get.
Right. Okay. So if I don't know, then how can I get help, JJ? Or how do I find out what would be my next, if I am not a mechanic and I'm going to get my car done, how do I go to the car of the exercise people, the mechanic?
Right. So the free way, if you have time and desire and interest, I have a lot of information on my podcast. My podcast show is free. It is 6 days a week. Mondays is exercise. Tuesdays is cooking and nutrition. Wednesday is about wellness. Thursdays is about thoughts and hypnosis and beliefs. Fridays is about spirituality, law of attraction, astrology, numerology. And Saturdays is about relationships. So I would say definitely on all the Mondays, all the exercise days, all the videos would be good. And then there are some Wednesdays and some Thursdays that I have recorded shows or interviewed people, if it wasn't just me, you would learn a lot by watching the shows and putting a program together. Now, that would just be giving you, if you're the kind of person that likes to go research it yourself. If you're someone that doesn't have the time for that and would like some personalized help, of course, I can help you with that. And the consultation is 60 to 90 minutes, either in person or on the phone or on Skype. And I could help identify in that 60 to 90 minutes what it is that you need that's not been happening and how to get that. I even have on the podcast show, there are two, it's in the beginning on Movement Mondays, there's a 10-minute legs for beginners and a 10-minute legs for intermediate exercisers. And both of those can be done. They can either be done separately or together. That would give you 20 minutes. If you were to do both of them versus beginners and intermediate, you could do that while you're watching television. So talking about, adding it into your life, you watch television, you could do 20 minutes of legs and still watch the television. But at first, I'd want you to learn them properly, know how to be mindful, know how to connect your body to your muscles to get the most out of it. So on the free side, podcast, totally free. I've got a whole bunch of other free stuff and all of my other sites, but I would say that's the best place to go get information, the videos and the audios if you want to learn more. If you want it to be quick and easy and you're ready for accountability and some help from somebody, I'm happy to help.
Thank you so much, JJ. I really appreciate and value your scientific mind and your emotional mind and your spiritual mind as well. And they all work together so well. And that was a really enlightening call in a different way into looking at exercise and creating powerful habits. So thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Do you commit to an exercise program every year and then give up within the first 60 days? Are you ready to be accountable to yourself and uncover the personalized changes that will work for you long term? Consider the 30-day Jumpstart program. Visit the products page on fit2love.tv to get started today. The Fit to Love podcast show offers you 6 days a week of helpful content to achieve the happy life you deserve. Movement Mondays and Tasty Tuesdays are weekly videocasts, while Wellness Wednesdays, Thoughtful Thursdays, Freedom Fridays, and Sexy Saturdays are audio-only shows themed every week to address your holistic life and needs. If this show inspired you, we would love for you to share it and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today. Head on over to fittolove.tv for recaps of every show, resources, and to join the community. That's FIT, the number 2, LOVE.TV. Have a fit and fabulous day.